Hey everybody, Ingrid Sparkman here from Southbridge Street Live, and I just wanted to let you guys know that we have banded together with CASA, Golden Crescent CASA of Victoria, for their annual backpack drive. Now I know it's summertime, so this is a crazy time to be thinking about school, but for organizations like CASA, they need to gather materials and supplies for children all year long. So this is it for the next couple of weeks on Southbridge Live. You're going to see that some of my guests will be bringing in backpacks themselves. If you also would like to donate a backpack or school supplies, you can come by our studio at 1102 North William Street, or you can call me at 361-649-1825, and I'll be happy to come by, pick up backpacks and supplies to help support our local Golden Crescent CASA. Happy Monday afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on Southbridge Street Live. I have a very special guest this afternoon. This is Sarah Lasater from Shelter Pets Live, and you have a live show 3 days a week where you just feature shelter pets, which I just think is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm so honored to have you here. And also today, it's our very first puppy on this show. Tell me a little bit about Bonnie.
Well, this is my little friend Bonnie here.
Look at her ears.
I know, they're so cute. She can hear everything. She was actually taken into a rescue organization here in Victoria, at Victoria Animal Control. She was one of about, I'd say maybe 6 or 7 puppies, and she is about 12 weeks old, and she's missing her brother right now, who is also being fostered with her at her foster home. So that's why she's being a little bit shy.
So you have Bonnie and Clyde?
Yes, Bonnie and Clyde.
Aww, so she's the shy one, I bet, of the...
Actually, believe it or not, Clyde is the shyer of the two.
Are
she's
you
actually
serious?
very sweet. I think she's just a little camera shy.
Yeah, oh, as we all are. Trust me, Bonnie.
Yes, but she's very, very sweet. She's actually going to be taken in by an organization that is called Northern Lakes Rescue up in, I believe it is Wisconsin.
Oh,
so
wow.
she's going to be getting
So
transported.
she's going to be traveling.
Yes, that's correct. In
Okay.
just a couple of weeks after she has all of her vetting finished.
I have all of these questions. Are you ready for them?
Sure, yes.
Okay, so well, first of all, let me say, just on behalf of animal lovers everywhere, how much I appreciate that you take the time 3 days a week, and I know that you work with them every day, to go live, to showcase pets, to showcase animals that need homes. So I just find that amazing.
Thank you.
How did you get started in this? What moved you to want to do this?
Well, to be honest with you, I was actually following a page or two of different rescues and shelter organizations in South Texas, closer to the Corpus Christi area. And I was following one page that was showing a dog that needed to be fostered before he could get rescued, or he was going to potentially be euthanized, because unfortunately this area of Texas has a pretty serious issue with overpopulation and strays running around. You need to definitely be sure to spay or neuter your animal, especially if they're not enclosed very well, because basically what happens is dogs get pregnant, then they have puppies, and it happens with cats too. They have kittens and puppies, and there's nowhere for these puppies and kittens to go. So they end up getting called, usually they call animal control to come pick them up, and then when they end up in a shelter, unfortunately, a lot of our shelters are underfunded and overpopulated. So when these shelters take in more animals and they don't have anywhere to put them, if they only have a limited number of kennel space, they can't just let the animals go, run around free. They have to bring them back. So if there's no space for them, they have to start euthanizing.
Do you know what the time frame looks like once an animal is introduced into animal control before they are euthanized?
Yes, well, it actually depends on how they enter the shelter. Some dogs are found as strays, and if you are a stray, then you have up to 5 to 7 days to be able to be reclaimed by your owner. And then if you are an owner surrender, if someone decides that they don't want to keep their animal for whatever reason anymore, they don't have any hold time. So that means that they are able to be euthanized from the moment they walk in the door. So
I had no idea.
yes, exactly. So please, please, please don't surrender your animals to animal control. Try to find them a home with somebody that you know, maybe even someone that has some experience with the dog would be a much better option because, like I said, they don't have any hold time. So as soon as you walk the dog in the door.
I bet you most people don't know that.
No, they don't. They think that it's going to be a safe place for them to be able to be held until they can get adopted. And unfortunately, that's not the case. And the really interesting thing is that a quote unquote bite dog, that is a dog that has been taken into the shelter for a number of days because they have bitten somebody, and there is going to potentially be some litigation about that. They actually have 10 days to be held in the shelter before they go into the general population.
Wow,
So,
versus a dog that might not have had anything, done
Exactly.
anything wrong other than
Exactly.
its family, for whatever that reason is, needed
Yeah.
to give that animal up.
exactly.
So you became interested, you were following this page, and I interrupted you.
Oh no, that's
So you
okay.
were following a page.
Yes, I was following a page out of Robstown, Texas, which is near Corpus Christi in Nueces County. And something about this dog just really tugged at my heartstrings. I guess maybe the picture was just really, really, sad, and he looked real lonely. And so I just thought, I feel terrible. I have a little bit of extra space. Sorry, Mom and Dad. But I went down there and I picked the dog up. I actually ended up picking up 2 dogs the same day to be rescued, to foster, because I knew it was just going to be a short-term thing. And I knew that a foster is the bridge between death and survival. You have to have fosters in place because a lot of these rescue organizations, they survive only off of donations brought in by the public. So if they have to end up paying money to board them at a facility, that really eats up a lot of their money that they have for funding for vetting and for food and that sort of thing. So fosters are incredibly, incredibly important to save animal lives for rescues. So if you happen to have any room and you're willing to do so, please reach out to a rescue and let them know that you're interested, because then they can take in more animals.
Let's talk about that further for just a few more minutes. So what qualifies you to be someone who would foster an animal?
Well, really, you just have to have the desire to do so, but there are certain vetting requirements that the rescue is going to perform. So they may have a questionnaire. The first step would be letting them know a little bit about your home, whether it's completely secured, whether you have any other animals, and if so, are they vetted?
Meaning they've been to the vet, they're up to date on
Yes,
the shots. Okay,
yes,
thank
they
you.
need to be up to date on all
I
their
assumed,
shots.
but I don't ever want to assume anything.
Yes, no,
Yep.
thank you for saying that, because there's a difference between the word vetted as in going to the vet and vetted as in checked out and you're
Right.
been approved.
Right.
So yes, they have to be up to date on all their vaccinations, because you want to make sure that any animal that you bring into your home is not going to potentially bring a disease into your
Or
own
harm the
animal.
others,
So
right.
yes, exactly.
During the time that someone, so there's an application process.
Yes.
Tell me some names of some rescues that we know. Like I know about.
Oh gosh, there are tons of them here in the Victoria era. There would be Rebel Rescue,
Right.
Pity Paws, Shelter Pets of Victoria. That's
Right.
a good one too. WAGs, Hope and Healing. There's also, and I believe that they're actually out of Austin, but they do have a couple of local contacts that they can put you in touch with to be able
And
to.
here's what I'll do too. After the interview, I'll make a list
Okay.
and post that with yours, because there's
That would
other.
be
Because I was
great.
thinking about individuals, but we should probably ask these individuals too.
Sure.
But it's really important that we at least kind of understand and know what that process is going to look like.
Absolutely.
So when someone agrees to foster, are they agreeing to not just the love and care and nurturing of this pet during the time that they're looking for their forever home? Are they responsible financially for the vet fees and for those types of things?
No, they're not responsible for any kind of financial expense whatsoever.
Okay.
And in fact, a lot of times you can actually get free food, and some of them might even be able to provide you with a kennel, like a little crate, so that they have something to stay in while they're with you. A lot of them will give you tips on, let's say, you want to be able to keep them separate for, let's say, 2 weeks, so that will make sure that they are not going to be potentially spreading anything that could be settling into your carpet. A lot of bathrooms have tile floors, so it's easy to clean up afterwards and be able to sanitize after you're done. But they will provide you with any kind of expense that's going to need to be covered, like, for example, getting them to their vetting appointments, because that's really important. They need to get inoculations before they can be transferred to any
Right.
rescue organization.
Right.
So you may have to do 1 or 2 trips to the vet, depending on if you have more than one dog or not. A lot of times you can take them both at the same time. But they will usually get that all set up and scheduled for you and just let you know, hey, you need to take the dog or dogs or cat or any other animal, because a lot of different rescue organizations take in all kinds of animals.
Right.
But they will usually get that all set up for you, and they are the ones that pay for it. So don't be afraid to take in an animal because you think that you're going to be spending money, because that's not part of the equation. They take care of all of that for you.
Wow, that's fascinating. So that is something that I want to really kind of make sure that our audience hears today, is that exactly what you said, which fosters are that bridge between life and death for many of those animals, while the rescue organizations work diligently to help find these animals forever homes. So I know, because we talked about this off camera, that we're still a little bit terrified, even though we go live of the camera. What pushed you spiritually to want to go live so that you could feature them live?
Well, honestly, yes, it's a little bit nerve-wracking sometimes, especially if you don't have a lot of experience with Facebook Live or YouTube Live. But honestly, my desire to help animals is a lot stronger than the nervousness and the anxiety that I get being on camera.
I understand completely.
Yes. And I actually used to do a lot more on-camera stuff. I would talk a little bit more about certain events or any kind of important news that might need to be discussed with people that are interested in potentially adopting. Hi, sweetie. There you go. But I quickly realized that the most important thing is getting eyes on the animals. And a lot of times if people click on your show and it's just you and they're expecting to see dogs and cats, they might not watch. So I just very, very quickly introduce myself and say, hey, we're here at Victoria Animal Control or Pet Adoptions of Cuero, and I'm going to go ahead and show you some dogs. And I literally start showing the animals, because you want to try to get as many eyes on them as possible. And Facebook Live and YouTube Live are really, really great ways to be able to broadcast so people see exactly what is there right then. It's not. That's part of the problem, actually. One of the reasons why I started doing this live is because I would see posts for animals being shared on Facebook, which is great. I really applaud everybody that spends time trying to network animals on Facebook, because it's certainly one of the best ways to do so. But a lot of these are out of date. You might see a dog that needed a rescue or a foster 2 weeks ago, and maybe it's already been saved, and your efforts and time that you're putting in to share that animal would probably be better served by sharing something that is in need now. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to incorporate the live broadcast into what I was doing, was so that people can see what's there now.
What does a week look like for you? Tell me.
Well, I have chosen Monday and Thursday as the days to broadcast from Victoria Animal Control, because Victoria Animal Control is actually closed on the weekends, but they always have 24 hours a day animal control calls. So even though they're closed on the weekend to the general public, they have animals being collected all throughout the weekend. So on Monday, there may be a whole new group of animals that are brand new to the shelter that need to be seen either by someone that is potentially missing their animal, and they might be able to see in the shelter without having gone there yet.
Oh, that is such an amazing service. I understand where you're going with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So it gives them the opportunity to actually see what's in the shelter without having to actually set foot on the premises. And also it shows the different animals that have been there for a couple of days and they haven't been reclaimed. Now it's time for an adopter or a rescue to step up and try to get them out, because as I said, there is really a limited number of kennel spaces. So when animals are brought in, if they don't have any more spaces, they start having to do euthanasia, and they don't like to do that at all. They really don't. But they have to make some really tough decisions about the ill, the aggressive, the older. Those are usually the first dogs that are up on the chopping block. I'm sorry, I hate to use that term, but I don't know another one that's, you know, stresses how important that it is to get them out quickly. So I've chosen Monday and Thursday, and I only say Thursday and not Friday because they are open Friday, but they close early on Friday at 3 o'clock. They always open at 10 a.m. to the general public, and they usually close at 5 Monday through Thursday. So I want people to be able to see on Thursday what will still be there potentially on Friday, and not only have a very small window of time.
Right, and that time still runs over the weekend while they're closed. So in other words, if you have a dog that might only have 5 days, that also includes the weekend. So as those days pass, so does his time.
Exactly.
Wow.
And, you know, unfortunately, Victoria Animal Control is great. They're wonderful at what they do. They are, you know, they have a limited number of staff and only so many hours in the day. And a lot of the times, especially during summer when there is a major stray issue, lots of dogs running around, especially when they don't have a collar and they can't tell if it belongs to this owner at this home, they have to pick them up. It's really important for them to be able to, I just lost my train of thought.
Really for animal control to be able to.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, the website.
Right.
They don't always have time to update their website. So you might go on there thinking, hey, my dog has been picked up, or I saw a dog here on, you know, Shelter Pets Live. I wonder if it's still there. If you go to the website, it may not be up to date. So you might not get the opportunity to find the dog that you're looking for. So I try to spend a little bit of time there to do these live broadcasts to be able to show the animals that are presently available. So, you know, it's just kind of trying to help them out a little bit and do them a little bit of favor because I do have the time to be able to volunteer. So,
Are you a full-time volunteer? Do you work for Shelter Pets Live as your organization 24/7 now?
yes, pretty much. I started getting submissions from people that are looking for their animals saying, have you ever seen this dog there? Or can you help me find an owner for this dog? It's my mom's dog and she can't take care of him anymore. Or we have to move and the new apartment that we're moving into, downsizing from a home, we're just not going to be able to keep him. So pretty much all hours of the day. And the fact that the broadcast is actually not just in Texas anymore. I mean, it's not only nationwide, but people all over the world see it. So I have people that are in different time zones, say in Turkey.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. It's really, really neat. You get to meet a lot of really, really excellent people doing what I do.
And you have filed for nonprofit status.
Yes.
Which I'm just like, yes, that's awesome.
Yes, I can't wait to be able to say that I am a
fantastic.
nonprofit organization because right now, if you're wanting to donate, that's great, and I certainly do accept them, but I want to be able to provide the ability to write it off as a tax write-off for anybody that does want to donate.
Donate, right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we were talking about summertime. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you about is, do you have any tips for pet owners during summer?
Yes, definitely. And there are actually a pretty decent amount of things that you can do to try to keep your animals safe from the heat. As everybody who lives here in South Texas knows, and for those of you...
absolutely unbearable at times. And so I do worry about pets outdoors.
Yes, and there are a lot of them, unfortunately. But the best things that you can do are try to offer as many different opportunities for them to stay cool. So if they don't have any coverage, the smartest thing that you could try to do is, you know, go out to somewhere like Walmart, find a cheap tarp, be able to string that over their enclosure, give them an opportunity to get a little bit of shade. You also want to try to give them some cooler water than you might normally just run under the tap. Throw some ice cubes in there, and you can actually, there are some really wonderful ideas for different frozen dog treats that you can provide for your dog that you can find on Pinterest actually. But if you can give them anything that is frozen that you know that they like, that would be a good opportunity as well. They even have things like self-cooling dog blankets for dogs and outdoor cats.
Wow.
Yeah, you can find those.
I always think about like the inexpensive plastic pools that you can buy to just fill
that's
that
a great
up,
one
to
as
just
well.
give it, you know, give them an opportunity just to get into some water to cool off.
And they absolutely love it. Just be sure if it's been sitting out there for a couple hours, go test it. Make sure it's not boiling hot at that point because a lot of times it gets hot really quickly.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you want to try to keep it as cool as possible for as long as you can. And then, you know, definitely if you can give them a dog house, give them a little bit of more opportunity for shelter. That way they can duck inside whenever it gets a little bit hot. Especially if you don't have the ability to string like a tarp over your area.
Right.
A dog house is always a good second choice.
Now, I saw you this weekend, and you had a puppy.
Yes.
And so did any update on the puppy yet?
Gino is still available for adoption.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did a 365 Victoria Live on Saturday, was it? Yeah.
Yes.
And you had a puppy, and that was
Yes.
heartbreaking. And I
I
don't want to
know.
even bring it up, but I have to. I feel like that puppy was found in a trash can.
Yep. Yep. A dumpster. A nice hot dumpster that, you know, those metal containers, they get extremely, extremely hot. So he was very, very fortunate that someone found him when they did.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And that's another thing, actually, just to kind of reiterate the temperature. If you're going to do any kind of exercising with your dog, because my mom's dog actually had potential heat stroke happen this weekend because she walked it a little bit later in the day than she normally does. Try to do any exercising and dog walking early in the morning. That
Sure.
way the temperature is still a little bit cool. And try to avoid sidewalks if it
Oh,
is
I know.
hot.
I've seen the little puppy paws burned
Yes, they do.
recently.
They
Like, and I
do.
just don't even think about, you know.
Most people don't. It
Yeah.
doesn't come to mind because we have shoes, but they
Right.
don't.
Yeah, but they don't.
No.
Wow.
It's like they're wearing little fur coats in the middle of 105
Yes.
degree weather.
Yeah.
And also, please, please don't ever enclose your dog in a car. It gets so hot so quickly. I mean, it jumps, 30 degrees in just a matter of like, I think 15 minutes. So please, please, please don't ever keep your dog enclosed in your car, no matter for how short a time it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. Sometimes that's troubling if you see that, like
Oh,
in a
yeah.
parking lot.
Oh yeah,
Just,
and I think they've actually changed. I don't want to, say what's not true, but I think I heard that they changed the law. If you see a dog that's enclosed in a car, you can actually break the window. And some people, even if they're not allowed to, they do it anyway. Animal lovers will break your car window to get that dog
Yeah.
to safety.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
don't do it. Yeah.
So what do you want to leave people with when it comes to Shelter Pets Live?
Well, I would just say the reason why I initially set it up on Facebook, and it actually broadcasts at the same time on YouTube as well. I just wanted to set something up so people would see just how easy it is to volunteer time. If you have even just an hour to be able to spend at your local shelter, you can do the exact same thing that I'm doing. Just walk through and show the animals that need to be rescued or adopted.
In other words, you're encouraging people to go live anytime
Yes.
that they're at any of the rescues.
Yes.
Because, like you, oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's really easy to do, and honestly, all you have to do is just let the shelter know that that's something you're interested in doing. 99.9% of the time, they say yes. They want as much exposure for these
Right,
animals
as
as
they
they can
can.
possibly get. So just let them know that you're interested in doing that, and if they say, yeah, sure, go for it, do the animals a favor. Your local community would thank you for it, because some people are very anxious about even setting foot on shelter property because they think, oh, I can't bear to see them in there like that, scared and alone. And it's actually, you'd be surprised, some of the animals in there are just so happy to see you. They're missing their owner, or they just happen to have a friendly demeanor and personality, and they're just very eager to please. So you can run
So
into some really...
they're just kind of a waiting company. Like,
Yes.
it's wonderful to just go and give them some company.
Yes, yes.
That there's no pressure. I see kind of what you're saying in the way that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves by saying, well, I don't want to go because I don't want the pressure of, having to potentially get a pet if I don't want one.
Right.
Without really thinking about how wonderful it is just to have people come and visiting you and petting
Absolutely.
you and communicating with you. Even
Exactly.
if it's just for a few minutes out of your day. Well, I'm convinced.
And a lot of the shelters, honestly, they're not going to try to put you to work doing things like cleaning up animal poo or, doing laundry for them. Certainly if you're willing to do that, I'm sure they would appreciate it. But the most important thing is just giving them the opportunity to interact with other people. So if you're just willing to spend some time, you can go up there and just pet them or walk them or play with them. And that's the same thing for cats too. A lot of these cats are in very small enclosures, and sometimes they're in there for months at a time. And when they're cleaning the enclosures is really the only time that the shelter staff has any time available to be able to spend with these animals. So if you're willing to
that's
just
a
go
really
up
good
there,
point.
yeah, just spend a little bit of time and let them know that they're loved and wanted.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if somebody was interested in Bonnie, who would they contact? Would they contact you at Shelter Pets Live?
They certainly could. I think that Bonnie actually may have an adopter, but
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
No,
Yes.
that's okay. The truth of the matter is there are a lot of animals here at Victoria Animal Control and Pet Adoptions of Cuero that I would be happy if you want to check out some of my broadcasts. You can see the animals, and I'd be happy to let you know. I had a gentleman let me know the other day he was interested in a specific breed of dog, and I said, hey, I will keep you at the top of my list for poodles because I hardly ever see them. But when I do, I'll be happy to reach out to you and let you know there's one there.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm willing to do that. That's not a
And
problem.
then fostering. It would be good to have some more fosters in our
Oh,
community.
yeah, any fosters, they're literally like striking gold. I mean, when you can find them, they're just the most valuable thing in the world. And like I said, they are a bridge between life and death. So anybody that's interested in fostering can reach out to me. They can send me an email, sarah@shelterpetslive.com, or they can even go to my Facebook page and follow. Or if you like it, you'll be able to get updated with a notification every time I do go live.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
yeah, you can reach me
that's
through that on my
wonderful.
messenger as well.
Well, again, Sarah, thank you so much for
Thank
the
you for
time and
having us.
dedication that you
Thank
you
you.
put towards animals in our community. I very much appreciate that, and I wanted to also
Absolutely.
thank you for participating in the
Thank
CASA backpack. You said that your mother had been
Yes.
a part of that organization, so I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
Well, this was Sarah from Shelter Pets Live. Thank you again for coming on board. Thank you, Bonnie, for being my first puppy.
Yeah, she was so
She's
well
so
behaved.
camera shy. I love that. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
And thank
Thank
you
you.
all so much for watching South Bridge Street Live.
Bye-bye.